Hello students, I am Vijay Desle. I have shared some videos on the Google Classroom on electronic effects, reactive intermediates, curved arrows and classification of organic reactions. These are the recapitulation part of mechanism of organic reaction in the unit 1 of first chapter in our semester 5. Now the next recapitulation part of the same mechanism of organic reaction part is bond fission, reactive intermediates and transition state, nucleophilicity and basicity, electrophilicity and acidity. Means these are the terms actually we have discussed and we have learnt in first year or second year, but in this organic reaction mechanism we have to again revise all these things in the recapitulation part of this, and here these are the terms which are very important to understand organic reaction mechanism. So now next is bond fission. We have to discuss bond fission. What is bond fission? Bond fission is bond breaking. Suppose the organic compound is having this bond. Each bond is made up of 2 electrons, and in organic compounds bonds are shared, one electron from this atom, other electron from other bonded atom. This bond can be breaks or it can be broken in 2 ways. One is homolytic bond fission and second is heterolytic bond fission. In the homolytic bond fission, bond breaks homolytically. Suppose this is the bond, one electron shared by this bonded atom, this electron shared by this bonded atom. The bond breaks in such a way both the electrons of the bonds goes to both the bonded atoms. Means one electron goes to one bonded atom, other electron goes to other bonded atom. So here this bond breaks in a homolytic fashion. This can be taking place by using thermal reaction. It is called as thermolysis, or it can be breaks using light. It is called as photolysis. So see here, if you see any example, suppose we have the molecule such as alkane. So this is RR bond present between this. So one electron of this bond goes to this R, other electron of bond this goes to this atom. So here we get here 2 free radicals. Due to homolytic bond fission, electrons goes to both the bonded atoms, so the free radicals are generated. If we see example of CH3 ethane, when it undergoes thermolysis, so we get here 2 methyl radicals from this. If I have examples such as acetone, CH3 C double bond O CH3. In this acetone, when it undergoes homolysis at high temperature, then this one electron goes to this atom, this electron goes to this atom, and this electron goes to this atom. So due to loss of carbon monoxide minus CO, carbon monoxide is lost, and we get here 2 methyl radicals. Both the methyl radicals are combined, so 2 CH3 radicals, both the CH3 radicals are combined, and we get here ethane molecule. This is also photochemical reaction. So these radicals can be generated by using also peroxides, such as we have benzoyl peroxide PHCO OCOPH. So here this is the peroxide. This one electron goes to this pH, this electron goes here, this electron goes here. So due to loss of 2 CO2 molecules, this is one CO2 and this is another CO2. So minus 2 CO2 molecules. So in terms of gas it get evolved, and we get here this one pH radical and this second pH radical. So 2 phenyl radicals are generated during this homolytic bond fission. So the homolytic bond fissions are giving free radicals. They are having free radical mechanism which are having one unpaired electron. So this is here the homolytic bond fission. In the heterolytic bond fission, the bond breaks heterolytically. Suppose this is the bond present between the two bonded atoms. Both the electrons of this bond goes to one of the bonded atom. So this is generally takes place in polar molecules or polar compound. When we have example of any alkyl halide Rx, this X is more electronegative than R. So this R is alkyl group. When it is carbon and halogen, the bond present between this, it get polarized due to inductive effect. So this electron pair shifted to X, and we get here this R plus X minus. So heterolytic bond fission generates ions, cation and anion. So this is the heterolytic bond fission. We have seen various examples in the earlier videos, in which we have also shown the curved arrows, in which we have seen heterolytic bond fission. So see here, this is the fundamental part which is very important for understanding organic reaction mechanism. In the same way, the second is reactive intermediates and transition state. What is reactive intermediate? All the intermediates, most of the intermediates we have seen in the earlier video, carbocation, carbanion, free radical, these are the reactive intermediates. Along with this, nitrines, carbene, arynes are also generated during the course of organic reactions. But what is the exact difference between transition state and reactive intermediate? So this is reactive intermediate and transition state. What are the differences? What is reactive intermediate? It is the short-lived species generated during the progress of organic reactions. But these species are having definite molecular structure. They are having definite molecular structure. And geometry. But the transition state, what is transition state? It is the highly activated complex just obtained by the combination of reactant molecules. When the reactants collides each other, it forms a transient complex, transient species, which is highly unstable, highly energetic, but its molecular structure cannot be determined, or it has no definite molecular structure. It has no definite molecular structure. So these are the some fundamental things regarding the reactive intermediates and transition state. Reactive intermediates are generally formed in multi-step reactions, means in 2-step reaction, 3-step reaction, 4-step reactions. But in case of transition state can be formed in any reaction. In case of, if we see example of SN1 reaction, SN1 reaction is 2-step reaction. So one intermediate is formed during that, so it is carbocation, and the two transition states are formed during that conversion. So here the transition state is or can be formed in any reaction, but it is in a multi-step reaction. Reactive intermediates can be detected using different methods, but these cannot be detected. Transition state cannot be detected. These intermediates can be detected by using spectroscopic techniques, by using different trapping reagents. We can add trapping reagents so they can react with the intermediate. So these are the some basic things regarding the reactive intermediates. If we see simple example, energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction, then here suppose this is the reactant, this is the transition state 1, this is transition state 2, and this is here the product. Here this is the stage where the carbocation is generated. This is reactive intermediate. This is transition state 1 obtained due to the departure of halogen from the tertiary carbon, and this is the transition state second obtained by the combination of nucleophile from the either the side of this carbocation. So this is here the simple difference between reactive intermediate and transition state. This is the 2-step reaction. These are the reaction coordinates. This is here energy along the y-axis. So here this is the transition state. This is the transition state is having highest energy, very high energy. So these are unstable, but the reactive intermediate is having slightly less energy than transition state. So these are more stable than transition state. then it is converted to product through this transition state. So both the transition states are energetic as compared to intermediate. So these are the here the reactive intermediates and transition state. Now the very important part in this our revision part, recapitulation part is nucleophilicity and basicity as well as electrophilicity and acidity. Actually, if we think on these two concepts, nucleophilicity and basicity, both the terms are closely related to each other. Nucleophilicity and basicity means nucleophiles and bases. So I have to see first nucleophilicity. So for that we need first nucleophiles. We need to understand nucleophiles. What are nucleophiles? Nucleophiles are the species having unshared electron pair, and this electron pair can be utilized to attack on electron deficient species such as electrophiles. So these nucleophiles can give electron pair to other electron deficient species. So nucleophiles such as OH minus ion, R minus ion, NH2 minus ion, X minus ion, Cn minus cyanide. So these are the different nucleophiles we can have. Some nucleophiles do not have negative charge. Some are having negative charge, some may not have negative charge, such as ROH, alcohol, having oxygen is having two non-bonding electron pairs, two lone pairs. So it can also used to attack on the electrophile. So we have RNH2 amines, nitrogen is having electron pair. Simple example, water. Here again oxygen is having two electron pairs, non-bonding electron pairs. So one of the electron pair can be utilized for the attack on the electron deficient species such as electrophiles. So these are the nucleophiles which can share its electron pair with electrophiles. What is nucleophilicity? Nucleophilicity is ability of this nucleophile to make bond with electron deficient species. Its tendency to make bond with electron deficient species. This is the ability of electron pair donation. How fast, how quick it share its electron pair to electron deficient species. We can say again nucleophilicity is the ability to attack on electron deficient species and displaces living group. Suppose we have this nucleophile, any nucleophile, it reacts with here Rx, this R, because of this bond polarization, this X is electron attracting, R becomes electron deficient. So this nucleophile attacks on this and X get departed with electron pair. So what is nucleophilicity? It is an ability of this to attack on this R and X get departed with electron pair. So basically nucleophiles are making bond with electron deficient substrate, electron deficient species. So nucleophilicity is a kinetic term. So we can determine the rate or we can correlate rate of the different nucleophiles. If you see the nucleophilicity has no such a absolute value. Why? Because it is a relative term. Nucleophilicity is relative term. It is relative terminology. Means we can compare one nucleophile with other nucleophile. For example, we can compare this OH minus ion with F minus ion. How we can compare this? When we have any electrophilic reagent such as CH3Br. How fast this OH minus ion attacks here and Br departed as compared to this. So we can compare nucleophilicity of one with other, and we can also compare this with when it reacts with methanol, how fast it displaces Br. When it reacts with NaOH, how fast it reacts with this. So in the periodic table, as the electronegativity increases, its nucleophilicity is decreases. So this OH minus ion is more nucleophilic than F minus ion. So here the nucleophilicity is a relative term. We can express this by comparing with other. Means this is the relative term. Two nucleophiles can be compared on the basis of reaction with another electrophile. So what is its nucleophilicity? We can compare this with treatment of this methyl bromide with methanol. How fast methanol reacts with this? Then we can compare this with OH minus. How fast OH minus reacts with this as compared to methanol. So this way we can find out nucleophilicity. And the second important term is basicity. It is basicity. Basicity. What is base? Base is a species which accept proton, isn't it? So base can accept proton, but here the base, nucleophiles and base, these are highly related to each other because all are also bases. These are also bases. Nucleophiles are Lewis bases because they are giving electron pair to the electron deficient species. So the bases are the substances which catches proton, means, and the basicity is, it is the ability how fast it accept proton, how fast it can catch proton, and the basicity is absolute value. It is having absolute value. Suppose we have example of BOH, it undergoes dissociation, gives B plus here this OH minus ion. From the law of mass action we can find out here Kb, dissociation constant. This is the concentration of B plus and the concentration of OH minus ion divided by concentration of BOH. So this Kb can be determined. So this Kb is dissociation constant of base and it can be reflected in pKb. So negative log of Kb. So here higher the pKb, lower will be its basicity, and less is the pKb, higher will be its basicity. Means when the two bases are there, one is having higher pKb, it is having low basicity. So basicity and pKb both are inversely proportional, but dissociation constant Kb and the basicity is directly proportional. So the basicity is basically depends on equilibrium which has established between the base and its dissociated ions. So it is depends on the shifting of equilibrium. If this equilibrium shifts to the right direction, then the basicity is higher. So this is here the difference between the basicity and nucleophilicity. So bases are making bond with proton, how fast it accept proton, while the nucleophiles are making bond with substrate, electron deficient substrate. Actually both the terms are closely correlated to each other. Sometimes one of the nucleophile can act as a base. So some of the times this OH minus ion, here it can accept proton, sometimes it can attack on the electron deficient species. So it is depends on the reaction conditions, where it has to accept proton, where it has to attack on the electron deficient species. So here this is the concept of nucleophilicity and basicity. The next term we have to see, very important term, is electrophilicity and acidity. What is electrophilicity? Before that we must know electrophiles. What are electrophiles? Electrophiles are electron deficient species will take electrons from nucleophiles. For example, H plus ion. So it is the very simplest electrophile. In case of bromination reaction, there is a Br plus ion is also there. R plus ion is there. So these are electrophiles. Some of the electrophiles may not have positive charge, such as AlCl3. We call it as a Lewis acid. AlCl3, BF3, SO3 sulfur trioxide, ApCl3 ferric chloride. Due to incomplete octet, so here in case of these three examples, due to incomplete octet, these are acidic in nature. They can take electron pair from the electron rich species. So these are electrophilic in nature. So electrophiles. Now what is electrophilicity? Electrophilicity is the ability how fast it accept electron pair from nucleophiles. So it is the ability to catch, to accept electron pair. So this is called as electrophilicity. So when we have Rx and this any nucleophile is attacking on this R and it displaces leaving group. So what is its ability to accept electron pair? So this ability is totally depends on its electropositive character, how electrophilic it is, how positively charged, or how the R is electron deficient. So it is basically depends on this X. If this X accept electrons inductively from this R, so R becomes electron deficient, so it can easily accept electrons from this nucleophile. So electrophilicity is ability to accept electrons from nucleophiles. While, and see, the electrophilicity is also rate dependence. It is also relative term. Means we can compare one electrophile with other electrophile. Means we can compare the electrophilicity of CH3Br with CH3CH2Br. So this is the ability of this carbon to accept electron pair. This is the ability of this carbon to accept electron pair. So this is called as electrophilicity. Same here, the electrophilicity of this sulfur, electrophilicity of this aluminum is different. So electrophilicity is a kinetic term which decides the rate of reaction. Now the next is acidity. Acidity. What is acidity? Acidity is the ability to donate proton. How fast it donate proton. What is acid? Acids are the substances which donates proton. So acids are proton donors. And the acidity is how fast it donates proton. So we have the different acids, HCl, HBr, H2SO4, HNO3. So different acids we have. So its ability to donate proton called as acidity. So acidity is again depends on equilibrium. If you see example of Ha, suppose this is any acid, undergoes dissociation, gives H plus here this A minus, cation and anion. From this we can find out here this K, that is dissociation constant of acid, which is concentration of H plus ion into concentration of A minus upon concentration of Ha. So here we can determine the dissociation constant of acid K, and this K can be represented as a pKa. So Ka is negative log of Ka. So this is the pKa. More is the pKa, less will be acidity, lesser will be the pKa, higher will be its acidity. So it is depends, it is absolute. It is depends on equilibrium, and it has a absolute value. So the acids are represented in terms of Ka or pKa, and the bases are represented in terms of pKb and Kb. So these are having absolute value, but the acidity and basicity are relative concept. These are relative, one can compared with other. So here these are the fundamental or basic parts of the organic reaction mechanism. So in this video I have tried to explain the fundamental things such as bond fission, what is the difference between reactive intermediate and transition state, and nucleophilicity, basicity, electrophilicity, acidity. So in short, again I am explaining this. Nucleophilicity is the ability to attack on electron deficient species and displaces leaving group, while the basicity is the ability to accept proton, how fast it catches proton. So actually both are highly related to each other. These are closely associated to each other. While in case of electrophilicity and acidity, electrophiles are the species which are electron deficient in nature. They having affinity towards electron pair, so they accept electron pair from electron rich species such as nucleophiles. So electrophiles are electron deficient species, and electrophilicity is, it is the tendency or ability to accept electron pair, while the acidity is the ability to give proton. So it is how fast it donates proton, it is acidity, and acids are the species or the substances which donates proton. So here in this way we have seen here the basics of organic reaction mechanism. So these are the important things for the understanding reaction mechanism. Thank you.